Well, hi everyone. What an amazing view this. I'm here to talk about design and how design has the power to make the world a more human-shaped place. And, you know, the world is a more human-shaped place. What do I mean by that? I mean a place where everything is designed around real human needs. A place designed for humans and by humans. So, some 30 years ago, I came to Aarhus to study here. Actually, I did 1 year at law school, just to discover that I was not a lawyer. I was not ever become a lawyer, ever. I was a creative, right? And somehow that, thing about like breaking the rules as opposed to following them was something that I really, really liked. And I guess it's fair to say way back then, design was something totally different, right? Not that we were designing white teacups all the time and just like prettifying, beautifying things, but design way back was more about designing and shaping things, really. But sometime along the way, I met some people that really helped me try to re-understand and really understand what design has the power to do. One of them was this amazing guy, a design professor who now passed away, John Heskett, who became one of my biggest sources of inspiration. And John had this very soft-spoken way of putting it, what things really are, right? So the way he defined design was the following. So design is the human capacity to shape and make our environment in ways that satisfy our needs and give meaning to our lives. What do you think about that? Isn't that a beautiful quote? I think so. Because to me, that is what design is really all about. Okay, yeah, all right. You know what that is, guys, right? Right. It's not the human-shaped world. So fact is, there is a lot of complicated stuff out there, a lot of crappy stuff that is not human-shaped, but rather human-proof. And you know what? How many of you guys have tried this? Let me see a raise of hands. So you know what I'm talking about here, right? All right. You know what happened up there? So a bunch of specialists, right, packaging specialists, people that know this stuff, sat down, figured out how to design the perfect packaging, right? So they thought of everything. It's safe, it's tamper-proof, it's easy to manufacture, it's cheap. But they forgot one thing. What is that? How do you get this stuff out of the packaging, right? So for us, as human beings, as people, what do we care for? We care for taking things out of the box. Whereas that group of specialists, right, with the upside-down mindset, they thought all about how to pack things in, right? So the Americans even have a word for this. You know what that is? It's called wrap rage. The frustration you feel when you can't get the stuff out of the packaging and you need to bring out your tools. So just to make my point here, let's have a look at this video. It kind of, shows what happens when you design stuff, you put it out there without consideration for the human factor, or even, well, let's have a look at it. It's in Austrian, so don't mind, but it's still like a good, good laugh. He's demonstrating the new perfect packaging that is going to replace the milk bottle. Okay?
Dann kommen hier einmal die Öffnungsanweisungen zum Vorschein. An und für sich ist die Packung perforiert. Es kann aber sein, dass dann das händische Öffnen nicht so leicht möglich ist. Sie sehen es auch hier. Mir gelingt es auch nicht, dann nimmt man am besten eine Schere.
Drauf. Was gibt es? Wir haben sie vorbereitet.
Steht nichts drauf. Auf den meisten Packungen mit den moderneren Dekors haben Sie also eine Schere. Die schneiden wir jetzt hier einmal auf. Am besten auf der zweiten Seite auch noch. So, machen wir es richtig gut. Dann müssen wir hier die Lasche vorziehen, möglichst einen schönen Schnabel bilden. Das ist nicht schon abgeschnitten. Und jetzt werden wir es versuchen.
So remember, guys, the mindset that creates stuff like this just on a small scale, it's the same mindset with which we create a lot of other, big, complicated things in the world. I think we gotta, somehow we just started to put up with this. I mean, who wants this stuff, right? So 30 years after, we still have, milk cartons that are pretty hard to deal with, right? So, but as being said, design is so much more than designing, things in milk cartons. So some time ago, Oslo University Hospital approached one of our teams and asked us to help with some very difficult problems at the breast cancer clinic at the Oslo University Hospital. They were dealing with serious waiting lines and a bad patient experience. So you might wonder, why does a hospital, call a design company? Why couldn't they just call in some real specialists? I tell you why. Actually, they had gone through several projects, so-called lean projects, right, with focus on procedures and processes, without focus on people and patients, really. So we were called in, instead of the lean, smart people in suits, I think that was the way they put it, to help them fix this serious problem. The thing was, the waiting lines were up to 12 weeks. And when you're talking breast cancer, waiting time kills in many ways, right? But worst of all, what really was the thing here, when we started looking into what was wrong in the hospital, right, we spoke to everyone, not only the doctors, the nurses, the specialists, but real people, the patients. And actually what became very clear, and some of the things that I clearly remember that was being said, was the feeling of not really being part of a system. So there was one woman who explained to us, said the following. So the morning I discovered something was wrong, I discovered a lump in my breast, I went to the doctor, right? And then I had to wait 12 weeks for an answer. How come? The hospital the moment that I discovered that there was a lump in my breast, I became a patient immediately and I needed care. But for the hospital, right, I was not part of the system until I was diagnosed. And that was where the waiting time was. So it became clear to us that we needed to focus on a radical simplification of, all the processes, ensuring that there was one way in, one patient coordinator, and a straight line from when you get referred from your doctor to the hospital. Another thing was collaboration. So all the people in hospitals, these big, change-resistant structures, they were focused on doing their own part of the job. They didn't see themselves as, delivering a full patient experience. They didn't look at the whole journey. They just tried to optimize the part of the work that they'd be doing, scanning, analyzing, and so on. And the last one, but not least important, was actually, really amplifying the communication in order not to leave anyone in uncertainty about, knowing what's going on. So we worked on classic, communication materials, from referral letters to leaflets and to user-friendly websites that would make sure that all the patients would know what was happening all the time. Believe it or not, the change was radical. We managed, together with the hospital and the team, to reduce waiting lines from 12 weeks of uncertainty down to 1 week of knowing what's going on. We had three key learnings here, or the hospital had. That one, they needed to give the promise of taking care of a woman from the moment she leaves the doctor with a referral in her hand. The second learning was an approach. And I think one of the doctors actually put it in quite a beautiful way. He said, listen, when we're going to change things and make things better here at the hospital, we got to start talking to the real experts, the patients. Imagine a doctor saying this, right? And the third one was a focus. So put very simply, one nurse said, we need to wrap the hospital around the patient and not the other way around. These key learnings actually are interesting because not only did they change the breast cancer diagnostics process, but I think they have the power to change a whole healthcare system if we scale it up. And there's a lot of wood to be chopped out there, a lot of complicated stuff, waiting lines, complicated processes, services that need either to be improved or simply be designed away. You guys have tried this as well, right? Wow. What an experience, huh? And it's different all over the world. Imagine, if we could fix this, how much impact that would have. So all of you, whatever you do in your everyday lives, in your job, if you're a baker, a school teacher, a car mechanic, a developer, or whatever thing, we have a choice. and let's take it. We can either keep doing human-proof stuff that nobody wants, needs, or we can switch, putting the user or putting the human being, putting people back at the center and make human-shaped stuff that makes sense to us and brings some purpose and meaning into our lives. Everyone is trying to change the world. So the UN, with its 17 development goals, I think they make a lot of sense because there is a lot of stuff that we need to change out there. Goal number 17 actually is kind of suggesting that all the 16 goals, the other goals, that we solve them in partnerships. And I couldn't agree more. Partnerships is the way to go when fixing these problems. But I want to add an 18th one, and I think they even made space for it down there, right? Which is introducing design, because just like partnerships, design is a universal tool that can help us solve all the other goals in a much better way. So I'd like you really to help spread the message to the world. Help us amplify the message and join the conversation with us. I'm pretty sure that if we team up, because if you remember what John Heskett said, it's not about design capacity. Design is a human capacity, basically meaning that all of us can chime in. So when you get out there and have a look around yourself, start thinking, really thinking of what you can improve in whatever you're doing. I'm pretty sure together, we can create a human-shaped world. Thanks a lot.